Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballet Rain. So, we love ballet.
We do.
Hopefully that should be obvious by now. And being dancers ourselves and ballet lovers and ballet nerds in general, we have had the extraordinary privilege of being able to experience the joy and beauty of ballet firsthand. But obviously the privilege of being a dancer, or honestly being immersed in any kind of expertise for that matter, comes with the extra bonus freebies of extremely niche inconveniences that only other dancers would ever understand. So for your daily dose of ballet culture today, we are going to bring you a bunch more ballet dancer pet peeves that like objectively aren't that bad, but somehow managed to rage bait us anyway. You guys really seem to like this, so the last episode will be linked above and below. You can watch it after this one. But apparently we are just extremely petty and we managed to come up with a bunch more. So if you're ready for part 2, make sure you tap the like button, swipe over and hype it as well, and let's get going. Oh boy. Number 1, and this one might be one of my biggest ones. Oh boy. Because it is a sensory thing. Oh. And this is the rosin squeak. TM. Oh, yeah. We talked about rosin in the last video being a very convenient and very effective antidote to the issue of the heels of your point shoes falling off. Rosin's also used if the floor itself is kind of slippery. Using the rosin, which is essentially just like dried crushed tree sap, helps you get a little bit more traction on the floor. Yeah, you like crush it up. Yeah. And you like step on it and then you like, basically, you have more grip on your shoes. It is very helpful and it is definitely an essential, and I'm not saying we don't jump around in the rosin box before every single show, because we absolutely do. But the first 5 minutes after putting rosin on are absolute hell. Because the rosin, I mean, it's sticky, which is good, but it also squeaks. It squeaks. It's like it's almost like nails on chalkboard. Oh, it's a very unpleasant one. I know. And obviously it's not enough to deter us from using rosin. No, because it is an essential. It is. I used to put it like on the tops of my feet too, because sometimes my feet have a tendency to sink. Oh. In my shoes. So if you dancers are sinking in your shoe, maybe try a little bit of rosin like around the metatarsals of your feet. It can help. But it does squeak. Oh, it does feel bad, and it kind of does squeak a little bit. So yeah, the rosin squeak is unfortunately an inescapable part of the ballet existence if you're using rosin. You know what? It's worth it for traction. It's worth it for your safety. It's worth it to keep your shoes on. It's worth it to keep yourself upright and not falling over. But it is... At what cost? At what cost, honestly? At what cost? Next tiny petty inconvenience as a dancer, and this one was a huge one from all of the viewers from the last video. Yeah, this was actually from the comments of our last video, and we were looking at each other like, why did we not include this? Yeah, why didn't we think of this? And this is dancing in the crack between the mirrors. Yes. Or warped mirrors in general. This is objectively not that bad. It isn't. In actuality, you should not be relying on the mirror for everything in ballet, because if you're kind of doing your entire class with your eyes cut towards the mirror, it's a bad habit. Yeah, and it's gonna mess up your placement. It does. And also you're not going to be able to learn the like intrinsic kinesthetic awareness for dancing. So you really shouldn't be relying on the mirror. My worst habit anyway, so. For context, if you've never been in a ballet studio, the mirrors are usually in panels, and they're kind of like multiple panels of mirrors across one or multiple walls of the studio. And so obviously in the gap between them, there's sort of like a line. Yeah, like a crack in the mirror. Yeah, so if you happen to be that person who's standing directly in front of that line or that seam in the mirrors, your image kind of gets split in half. Sometimes your head, like the top line of your head, one will be up here, one will be down here. And like one hip will look like it's off. Or like... you'll look very skewed. You look a little funny. There is something to be said about mirrors that are warped in general. Like even if you're not standing on the seam, the mirror itself is so warped that it does throw things out of proportion, and it can look very, very funny. Yeah. I remember going to a summer intensive. I was probably like 14, and there was this one studio, and none of the mirrors were straight. Like you would do a combination, you do Tommy Pot of a Wrigley side soda shot, and literally your entire image was body dysmorphia final boss. It's so hard. It can be slightly discouraging. It can be discouraging. It can be encouraging. And overall, I think just mirrors in general, like no mirror is gonna be 100% accurate. So if you're one of those people who's like super self-critical about yourself with the mirror, just remember that it's lying. No matter if you think it's a good mirror or if it's a straight mirror or if it's like whatever, mirrors are all gonna lie. They're all gonna lie a little bit. They're all gonna lie, and you look a lot better than you think you do. Number 3, and this is for all of our cold girlies or people who just like wearing sweaters to class. It's one of those things that is objectively not the worst thing in the world, but it kind of is the worst thing in the world. And this is when lint from your sweater or whatever garment you were wearing over your leotard gets stuck to your leotard, or worse, to your sweaty skin.
Oh, yeah. My worst example of this was, I have a nice leotard.
It's cute.
It's like a velour kind of velvet almost.
Yeah.
You've seen it on the channel. And so I wore it in London, and the thing is, I wore this like really nice blue, the Paddington sweater.
Yeah, it's so cute.
We'll put a video up
Go
here.
check out that vlog.
Go check out that vlog. It was
Yes.
really fun. And the thing is, Paddington sweater was very new, had not been through the laundry yet. So I couldn't take it off. And the Dusty Rose leotard is blue.
It's purple.
So I had to like run to the restroom and like try and like get all of the lint off. I didn't have a lint roller on me. I don't even know what I did. You know, I made something work.
It was still faintly blue.
But you know, like it happens.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, but it is a pet peeve. Always bring a lint roller in your bag.
Yeah.
That is a dancer tip from us to you, and I think millions of other dancers would agree.
Definitely. If you don't
Always.
have a lint roller, maybe just like get a little bit of water on your hands, because that can sort of like help
Brush
get
it
the lint
off.
off. Or just wear clothes that you know have been tested.
Wear trash bags.
Wear
trash bags don't lint. But yes, that is a very unfortunate inconvenience.
It's funny though.
It is funny. It makes for funny stories after the fact.
After
in
the fact.
retrospect.
In retrospect.
This one is partly reflects on me as a dancer. However, I will list it here anyway because I am unreasonable. And this is tippy bars. And I know, just even me saying this is gonna be like, well, Eden, you shouldn't be relying on the bar in the first place. The bar wouldn't be so tippy if you just stopped leaning on it. In my defense, sometimes the bars are just really tippy. You know, there's a certain amount of tippiness that's, I mean, it's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. You can work around it. There are some where it's like, clunk, clunk, clunk. And it's also that it makes a lot of noise.
It's the noise that's most annoying.
Especially when you have like the really heavy metal bars.
Yeah.
So every time it kind of clunks, it's like really loud.
You'll have a bar that's kind of tippy and you tighten it, you fix it or whatever, and it's fine. And the next day you come in and somehow the weather or the humidity changed, and now it's like
it's back to normal.
Now it's back to being super tippy and unstable.
It's a pet peeve of mine. It's like when you're sitting on a tippy chair.
Yeah, see, like
It's just, is it the end of the world? No.
No.
But is it really annoying?
Yes.
And especially if they kind of squeak. Because then, you know, you're doing like fast dégagés. And, you know, there's people kind of holding on the bar. If you have like 3 or 4 people on the bar and you're all doing fast dégagés, and the bar is just like,
It's annoying. It's very annoying.
Anyway, I think I've just maybe had too many experiences with tippy bars. Although I do think that most dancers will be able to relate with me.
True. So if this is a pet peeve of yours and you really can't stand it, maybe stand on a stationary bar that's bolted to the wall.
That's true.
Less likely to
Less
be
likely to
squeaky,
squeak.
less likely to actually tip. If you're managed to pull it off the wall, then that's a problem.
Then you have a problem. Then maybe that's a you.
That's a your problem. Number 5, and this is for, I think, pet peeve for the dancers as well, but I think this is definitely a pet peeve amongst the teachers. But this is when you're coming into the center for like center work and whatever. And sometimes when you have like a large class, sometimes you want to break the class up into groups so that the groups can each take turns performing, so they have a little bit more space to dance. And so usually what a teacher will say is, can we please split evenly into 3 groups or 2 groups or 4 groups? And I don't know, because like, here's the thing, dancers are really intelligent people. Like you ask anybody, these people work hard, they study hard, they are disciplined, they're really incredible people. But someone help me understand why dividing a group of 20 into 2 groups or 3 groups or 4 groups seems to be the most impossible task and takes so much time.
As a dancer, it's very embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
And then you feel bad because you collectively, as the entire class, are holding up the entire class collectively.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, we should be better at this.
We should be better at this. What's even funnier is like when the teacher will be like, oh, I have 2 groups, but I need 1 more on this side. Can someone from this group come over here? And no one comes for like 3 seconds, and all of a sudden everyone transfers. And this is something that we've observed over like years of like ballet training. Honestly, it's embarrassing for everybody.
Everyone involved.
Involved.
It's just a nightmare for everyone involved. This is why for auditions, everyone has a number.
Yes.
Because then if you have like 1 through 20,
yeah.
Be okay, let's have group 1 through 5. Then you just have like dancer 1 through 5 goes in the group.
Exactly. It's so much cleaner.
It's just cleaner. Anyway, that is an embarrassing, it's very funny, very endearing pet peeve.
And like this is definitely a skill issue, but
anyway. Here we are. This one is my personal plague. I think probably a lot of other dancers will relate, but I'm not gonna say me especially. But I am also saying me especially. And this is when you are in class and you are turning or just dancing in general and like all the little baby hairs get stuck to your face. And again, I know, I'm gonna hear Eden, that's a skill issue, secure your hair better. I know. But like sometimes, like if you're spotting hard enough, I have so many baby hairs. Like even though I have bangs technically and these get clipped back, they just come loose and then they stick to your face, especially when you're sweating. And this is 100% a sensory issue and also just like a tidiness issue. But it is a pet peeve of mine.
And like as people who don't like to use hairspray on the daily or any sort of like gel or whatever, like we like to keep it pretty natural.
We try for hair health.
But you know, it comes with a cost, a few minor inconveniences.
It's really petty because it's like, suck it up and deal with it. You're dancing, you're sweating, it's gonna happen. But surely you guys can relate, right?
I've always had an issue with this, like since I was little, literally from the ages of like since really little to even high school. Like I always put my hair in a ponytail.
Right.
I could not stand the feeling of like the hair touching my skin.
And yet here we are, and there was a phase where you had bangs. I wonder how you survived.
No, it's still a struggle. Like, you know, the urge to not put it behind your ear.
Right. For fashion alone.
Yeah, you have to just let it, because it's fashionable, it's cute, and it's cool, but it doesn't mean it's not annoying. The only thing that's saving us right now is the fact that we're not drenched in sweat. If we were going to work out, this would be clipped back.
Yes, it would be clipped back.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not, so you get to enjoy it like this.
This might be like on par with the rosin squeak for me, actually.
Oh, wow.
And this one is going to be the clinking of rings on the bar. Rings on the bar, the little clinking, clink, 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 when you're like shifting your hand on the bar.
Right.
It's the clinking sound is so annoying, and we used to have a teacher who used to wear ring all the time and just like clink, 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 clink for fun, just to annoy me. He was a funny teacher, but he did do it to annoy me because I was always like, and he thought that was funny. But anyway,
I think it's funny.
No!
I don't blame him. You're very funny to annoy, arguably.
I think this is more annoying than the bar itself squeaking.
Really?
I think this is more annoying than standing on the seam in the mirror.
Really?
This is probably on par with the rosin squeak.
It is that deep to you?
It is that deep to me.
Because it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't care. I think it's fine. It's whatever. So everyone put a ring emoji in the comments specifically to annoy Jordan. And everyone write, ring emoji, love you, Jordan. Watch your comments, people look, rings clinking. If you've made it this far and you haven't skipped yet, and if you're subscribed, then you get permission to annoy Jordan. Usually that's my job, but I'm outsourcing today.
Outsourcing.
Limited time deal. This next one is, I mean, I'm not sure if anyone else feels the same way, but maybe they do. So
maybe
I'll share it here. When you are at the bar and there's like another person kind of across from you and you're moving forward on the bar and you have to move your hand forward, right? When you move your hand forward and you accidentally put your hand on their hand, I always feel so bad. And it's like, it's not that awkward, especially if that person's your friend, your classmate. They've stood shoulder to shoulder with you through the longest rehearsals. You guys are buddies. But still, it's like, then you're like, sorry. You know, usually you're supposed to, if you've done it correctly, you would smoothly pass each other on the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
With little interference. And I don't think anyone else is gonna find it that bad.
I actually think that some people do. Like, I personally don't have too much of, like, I obviously try to avoid it.
Right.
But if it happens, it's just like, okay, whatever, just move on. I was in a class with a guy once, and he was probably the most paranoid of judging people at the bar. So whenever there was a moment, like if you have like some stationary stuff and then you have a chasse forward and you have to like move your head on the bar, he would do his tendu or his decorative or whatever, stationary. And then for a whole 4 counts before the chasse, he would take hands off the bar, like hands off the bar, whatever. And you just not touch it, and like 4 counts before and 4 counts after, hands off the bar, which is one, a flex, and like, yeah, you should be able to do your bar work without the bar, that's fantastic. But also it was just very funny because he was very paranoid about not touching anybody at the bar.
That is so funny. So I'm not the only one. The thing is, if someone else puts their hand on mine, I'm like, oh no, you're good, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But if I do it, I feel bad. Obviously, it's not that big a deal, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're in ballet class, we're sharing the floor together.
Yeah, you touch each other all the time.
Yeah, I know.
What the heck?
But somehow the bar thing, it's just like, it makes me feel bad.
I mean, it is technically etiquette. You should be able to do it without making contact. But, you know, mistakes happen. And, like, you can't read each other's mind. This is a pet peeve, but it's more just like an embarrassment sort of issue. So I guess here's the scenario, right? You came in wearing your warm-ups and you had your bag and your stuff, and you go in, you did your class, you obviously took off some warm-ups partway through bar and had a great class. You pack up pretty much everything, you take your bag and you leave. And then you're like in the locker room, right? And then you realize with astonishing horror that you forgot your pants in the studio. Most of the time, like in studio settings, or especially in the heavy rehearsal seasons, studios are booked. And the moment you leave, someone else had already occupied that studio. So this is the pet peeve right here, is having to go back into that studio while the next class or rehearsal has already begun. And you have to knock, have to open, you have to wait for the teacher to look at you or the director or whatever. And you have to say with all seriousness, I left my pants. Can I come and get them?
It's happened for like warm-up stuff, like block booties, pants, shoes,
bags, sometimes water bottle. Depending on your studio situation, sometimes you can just like walk in, get your pants and leave. Sometimes they'll make a joke or like, you know, take your time then, you know, if the studio's really big and you're walking like 100 feet to get your pants.
Or you have to do the awkward little jog thing.
Exactly,
you have to do the awkward little jog thing that indicates that you're trying not to disrupt, but you're also disrupting.
It's the worst because ballet etiquette is all about creating as minimal disruptions as possible. We've talked about this in our ballet etiquette video. You know, everything needs to be smoothly run, as minimal disturbances in the atmosphere as possible. And so this is kind of the one that just breaks all of the rules in the book.
And the thing, again, if someone else interrupts my rehearsal, I will not, like, it's not a problem for me. I'd actually probably be happy to see them. Like, it's literally not a problem if someone else does it, but when it's you, somehow it just feels so much worse.
Yeah, because you're disrupting.
Because you're disrupting the class.
And then in ballet, you're just trained to be as like inconspicuous as possible, so it feels like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I know.
In actuality, it's not. But it just feels like that because it's so ingrained in you.
Most of the time, teachers are chill, your classmates are chill, your fellow dancers are chill. You must walk with dignity. This is a tiny pet peeve that I feel bad listing it as a pet peeve. I feel slightly guilty. However, it is a tiny inconvenience or something that makes me a little bit uncomfortable when I'm dancing. And this is when you're in class, and you know a lot of studios have like the kind of window on the side. And I know the window's there for a reason. However, it makes me feel very shy when people are like standing at the observation window and very obviously watching.
Yeah.
I know the observation window is there so people can watch. Especially if the blinds are open.
Then it's like free game.
It's free game.
You know,
like
you're allowed
we're
to look.
there, people are allowed to look.
Or like once in a while when you get like another teacher or a director like standing out in the
oh
window.
yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like it's honestly like they see you every day.
They do.
They already know what you look like.
There's nothing wrong with it. It is free game to watch, and dance is a performing art, which makes it ironic.
It is ironic.
However, you're catching me in the process. Like, what if I'm having a bad class that day? You know what I mean?
On the flip side though, when you're working on a piece, you're rehearsing your favorite piece, the one that you really feel comfortable and confident in. And the blinds are closed to observers.
That's true. That's annoying.
That's true. And you're like,
that's annoying. Wasted.
Or you nail a quadruple, quintuple, like pirouette or whatever in class, and you're like, oh, the observation window was closed, and nobody witnessed it.
That is the curse of multiple pirouettes.
This might be like a bonus pet peeve.
Kind of like 10.5.
Yeah, 10.5 is when your pirouette, your fantastic pirouette, or any trick you execute and no one was watching.
I know.
And so there's zero proof that it happened.
Bro, I have a track record, like a terrible track record. Every single multiple pirouette I've ever done, I can do triples, more or less. But like every time I've done like 4, 5, 6 pirouettes on a whim, no one has ever seen it. So like by all external accounts, I can't do them, and I've never done them.
Yeah.
But I swear I have.
So that's pet peeve. Number 10.5 is the curse of the multiple pirouette or the trick steps. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, we just have to learn to accept it, that no one is gonna see
no one's
your
gonna
fantastic
know.
tricks.
And canonically, it never happened. All right, you guys, so that was 10.5. You're very welcome for the bonus.
Yes.
Ballet dancer pet peeves to add to the list.
Yep.
Hopefully it was relatable. Hopefully it was funny. Hopefully someone out there can be like, oh my gosh, I feel way less alone in this world because someone else also hates the rosin squeak.
Make sure to share this video with a dancer in your life or someone who will get it. You know, these are pretty universal dancer things.
I think so.
And I mean, it's just the joy of being a dancer, or joy of practicing anything extremely passionately, or getting to know a craft in any intimate manner. You're gonna have the things that are the best and the things that are just pure joy as, you know, an artist. And there are always gonna be those tiny things where you're like, well, they certainly are things.
Maybe it's just a sign that you really do love it.
To have encountered the not so pretty side and to still love it anyways.
Exactly.
A huge thank you to the patrons over on Patreon who helped make this video possible.
Thank you.
And they've actually helped make all of our videos possible. They are genuinely the people behind the scenes funding the future of ballet nerd content here on YouTube. So if you also would like to support the very niche ballet nerd content coming to the internet on a regular basis, you can also join this beautiful list of patrons right over here by clicking the link in our description or visiting patreon.com/balletrain. We have a lot of fun over there and we'd be ever so grateful to have you join us. Anyways, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballet Rain signing off until the next video.
Bye. And this one is going to be the clinking of rings on the bar.
Why, you don't like that? You don't like that?
No.
You don't like that?
No, I don't.
Did that bother you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, what does bother me is this.
That bothers me too.
This bothers every time I hear it in our videos.
Stop.
I'm rage baiting you this entire video. This is really fun.
No.
What is sisterhood if not professional rage baiting, right? This is a tiny, tiny pet peeve of me, and it's
Of me.
Yes. Shut up. Eden, professional pet peeve.
Pet peeve of me.
A pet peeve of me.
That was very pet peeve of you.
That was very pet peeve of me.